What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Atlus, so that's going to be fun, and also Nintendo's next generation system, what they're probably going to be doing going forward with the hybrid design, and my thoughts about that, because there is a lot to discuss. Even though Nintendo didn't say too much about what they're going to do next gen, I think I have some ideas in terms of what's going to transpire, which I've talked about in previous videos, but I guess this gives us just a little bit more clarity in terms of what Nintendo said officially on the matter. So let's go ahead and get right into it here, guys. We have a 80th shareholders meeting. I'm pretty sure this is where this all went down. Shoutouts to Japanese Nintendo, who translated a lot of this stuff, because Nintendo was asked about their next generation system. Obviously, the investors, they're looking at like PlayStation 5, they're looking at Xbox Series X, and they're saying, okay, well, these systems are coming. What does Nintendo got planned in terms of what they are going to do next gen? Now, Nintendo has steadfast said that they want to extend this generation in terms of the Switch as long as possible, that they see momentum, that things are going really good, and that is correct. If you look at the sales across the board, I think it's been like, what, 17 months in a row when it comes to the MPD US sales, that Nintendo is the top system sold. When you go to Japan, pretty much every single week, it's outselling the PlayStation 4. I mean, the sales around the world have been absolutely phenomenal. Nintendo is probably over 60 million at this point, or nearing 60 million, I should say, more like it, when it comes to Switch sales. So they're doing really well. This is the best normal, I want to say normal, but this is the best non like super gimmick like the Wii system that they've ever had in terms of sales. This is the best since the NES. There hasn't been a system that has topped what the Switch has done, and part of that obviously is because they have combined the home console and the portable aspect, because Nintendo's portable systems have always done better than the home consoles for the most part since like the beginning. You know, like I don't think there's ever been in the same generation that the portable didn't do better. Even in the huge sales of the Wii era, right, with the 100 million plus, the DS still sold more than that, like 150 million plus. So Nintendo's always had portable systems that have done better than their home consoles. Game Boy, GBA, everything pretty much always does better. So it makes sense, you know. But even if you look at like the Nintendo 3DS, for example, the Switch is blowing that system out of the water when it comes down to it. So it's not just because of the portability aspect. The home console aspect is obviously helping tremendously as well. So here is what Shioda, and I think I said that correctly. Let me make sure. Yeah, Ko Shiota, the director and senior executive officer, had to say in response to a question about what Nintendo is going to do going forward. So, quote, in addition to the performance aspects, higher technical specifications, Nintendo's dedicated video game platforms are developed with a focus on providing a comfortable environment for consumers to play fun software. From the perspective of playing with the image displayed on a TV, we believe that because consumers can play Nintendo Switch on a TV or the game console screen itself, it has greatly increased the opportunities for gameplay in various scenes in their lives compared to previous consoles. Through Nintendo Switch, we've made many discoveries about where a dedicated video game platform can fit into a consumer's daily life. We see scenes on social media of children and their families sitting around a game console to play, which gives us a renewed sense of the value of our dedicated video game platform. We will utilize these experiences in carefully considering the form our future game consoles will take. So they're considering what they're talking about here. Everything that he talked about in terms of, you know, how it's fitting in with their lives, right? How the Nintendo Switch is fitting in with people's lives, how it gives people more opportunities to play because of the form factor. And I have to attest to this myself. You know, I don't have a family that's always playing games with me right here and everything like that, or even friends that always play games with me. But what I like to do is that I actually like to play my Switch in the living room, and then I have a Switch Lite that I play portable, and then I watch like, you know, Netflix, or I watch like Amazon Prime or anime or whatever the case is in my bedroom, and I have my Switch Lite right there for me playing and watching. So I think that having that form factor, having that ability to be able to adapt to different situations is what's really making the Nintendo Switch a popular item, along with the fact that they have a bunch of great software, along with the fact that they have so much good games that are coming out for the system, whether it be older games or being new games, Mario Odyssey or the new next Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, right? I mean, Fire Emblem Three Houses, whatever the case is, there's always great games coming out. Animal Crossing has been absolutely spectacular for them. So I think that when they're considering this next generation platform and what they're going to do, I think that they're going to take it a little step further. I mean, people talk about the power of the Nintendo Switch not being powerful, blah, 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 all this stuff like that. But at the time that they were making the Switch, the Tegra X1 chip, that was the super chip. That was like a powerful type of device, right? Or more like powerful type of graphics chip at the time that they were making the Switch. Obviously, we had the systems like the home consoles that were already out that are stronger, right? But this is a mobile type of platform. And since then, since the 2015, when that Tegra X1 was introduced with that conference with NVIDIA, mobile technology has advanced so much. We're not in 2020. So Nintendo says they have about halfway through the life of the Nintendo Switch. So if they introduce something in 2022, I would probably think, and maybe it comes out in 2023, sometime around that area, man, there is so much more technology they can use. They can work with NVIDIA and they can together build something for the Nintendo Switch. Now they have the utmost confidence, which you can see in his statement when it comes from Nintendo. They have a renewed faith, a renewed confidence in what they're doing. I think that they were definitely a little bit hesitant when it came to the Nintendo Switch. They didn't know if this was going to be a crazy success or what was going to happen. They knew that it was going to be moderate, right? Because you're having all of your games on a single platform, which they did talk about before, saying, hey, now that we have everything on a single platform, we think things are going to be pretty good, right? But even if you look at their estimates, I think they had 2 million units for the first month of the Switch's release, which is definitely a little bit pared back, right? It ended up being a way bigger success than they even thought. Games have been selling like crazy, even like Animal Crossing. They didn't expect it to do as well as it did, and it already outsold their lifetime sales predictions for the game. So I think that when you look at it, they are confident now in heading into this next generation that people do want this style of thing, which before you didn't really know, right? Before it was always home console and it was portable, and people definitely kind of bashed the Nintendo Switch beforehand. I mean, yes, there was a lot of people that were praising it and saying this is going to be pretty good, but there are people that were saying, no, you need a super powerful box that sits right there. No, people don't need to be able to take it other places. They need to have it separate. And it ended up being the best decision Nintendo has made in a long time when it comes to their home consoles, or even when it comes to their devices in general. So I think with that type of confidence, you're going to see a very strong and powerful next Nintendo Switch 2. Now, is it going to be as strong as the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5? No, I don't think so. I don't think you can get a system that strong without it blowing up in your hands or having 2 minutes of battery life. But what I do think is that they can probably get something that is around the Xbox One X or the PlayStation 4 Pro in power. Maybe it's not quite as good as those, but it's right around there. And if you've played games on those systems still hold up really well. Look at The Last of Us Part 2. Look at Xbox One X games, some that have been like enhanced and really made for the Xbox One X. They're pretty phenomenal. Like Control, for example. That game looks absolutely stunning on the Xbox One X, and that would be more than enough power for what Nintendo wants to do with their games and what some third-party developers want to do with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Nintendo adds on top of that when it comes to like a supplemental computing device, how the dock works, if they're going to do like a Switch Lite 2 mobile type of thing, like how are they going to work with other stuff? So I think the future is boundless for Nintendo in terms of what they do. They have work to do. Obviously, there's some stuff that they can tighten up online, other things like that that they can work on in terms of their next system and everything like that. But I do think that they're on the right track, right? They're on the right track because of how well the Switch has done. So what are you guys' thoughts when it comes to Nintendo and the Switch 2 and what they're going to do? What are your possibilities that you can think of? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we do have a Atlus sighting. Yo, where's Atlus at? Where are we at here? So Atlus has talked about Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, and it has exceeded their sales expectations. Now, for those who don't know, this game has only been released in Japan. And I think it's coming out in other parts of Asia like already or this summer if it's not already out or something like that. I think it already launched, but obviously that's not big of sales or anything like that. But I want to talk about this just a little bit because we did hear Koei Tecmo say that they are going to be localizing this game. There are still people who think that there is no actual localization happening or it hasn't really been a thing yet, which Atlus hasn't officially announced the localization, Atlus, but Koei Tecmo talked about they are going to be localizing the game to shareholders. So that is something that is out there. with this game. Now, Phantom Strikers, I think that the reason why it's exceeded sales expectations, why people are excited to play it, is because it's actually a sequel to Persona 5. So it's not just some type of spin-off Warriors style of game, which some people try to characterize it as that. It's actually not that. It is a full-blown action RPG that has elements of various different RPGs thrown in there. There's not always just you fighting a bunch of hordes of enemies. Sometimes it's just a couple enemies on screen and you have to fight them. You have boss battles that have the HP meters and all that stuff like that. I mean, it is a full-blown RPG right there on your Switch or your PlayStation 4 system. There's platforming elements to it. You're collecting treasures. I mean, you're doing lots of stuff in the game. And I think that's the reason why people are so excited about it and people do want to play the game. It is more than just, hey, we're going to throw you in this area, you're going to run around and slash a bunch of people, and that's that. No, there's way more elements to the game. So when it finally does release here in the West, I do think that sales expectations are going to be even higher in terms of things, or they're even going to break more sales expectations, because I know Atlus always usually shoots low unless it's Persona, right? Unless it's like Persona mainline Persona, not Persona 5 Scramble, you know? So I think that's the reason why it exceeded their sales expectations, because they were already shooting pretty low to begin with. Now, what we do know in the sales realm for this game, well over 100K. I think it's well over 200K in Japan alone if you combine the Nintendo Switch and also the PlayStation 4 with digital sales. It was in the top 10 for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4 when it first launched, and then on top of that, it definitely ranked up on the eShop charts in Japan and of course on the PSN charts in Japan as well. Also on Amazon Japan, it was definitely up there too. So people are definitely picking up the game. Now, it's not some type of crazy huge multi-million selling game in Japan and Asia and all that as of this point, but I do think once it does launch here in the West, it's definitely going to be a multi-million seller. I mean, I definitely think it's going to get up to over 1 million and then maybe some, maybe not 2 million, but it's definitely going to be over 1 million. So people are going to be picking this game up because it really is a good game. Now, I played it myself, and if you guys want to play the game, you can do so as well. All you need is a Japanese account. There are multiple tutorials. I'll have a link in the description to how to make a Japanese Nintendo online account, or even if you want, you can do it on the PlayStation 4 if you know how to do it on there. And you can download the demo yourself and play through. It's not a hard demo to play through, and you don't need to know Japanese to get through the demo. I have a video on my channel here if you want to check it out about the game, and it is a really good game. It is dope. There's a lot of great things about the game, so I expect it to do really well once it comes out here too. So what are you guys' thoughts about Persona 5 Scramble the Phantom Strikers exceeding sales expectations, and also Nintendo's next generation machine, what they're going to be doing with that? I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.